Alright guys, really quick, I just want to do a response video to Dave Canterbury's Kleptsy Trap that he showed us. This is my starter posts. What I did for my string is I started off by making my posts kind of a Y direction from each other before I put in my peg. Once I put my peg in, I come up here, I brought my loop around and I tied a knot, which you don't really even have to tie that knot, but I did. And then brought the rope back around, making basically a trucker's hitch style hitch. And then I ratcheted this thing down nice and tight. As you can hear, it is actually making a nice sound. So that's the first step to my Kleptsy Trap. And now I'm going to get on started with the next piece. The next piece of my trap is the swing arm with the barb on the end. Now, I don't know if you can see this or not real well, but the barb on the end is kind of turned inward. And that's because this makes a rotation movement instead of a straight down. If it made a straight down, then you'd want that peg going straight up and down. But because it rotates, that makes it a much straighter stab into the object. The barb of my swing stick is actually shaped kind of like a diamond or an oval, similar to that you would find on arrowheads. It's not a perfectly round, it's actually more flat and then sharpened at the very tip. I found that this seems to be the most powerful way to stick something. So that's that piece. My trigger method is going to end up being a toggle, or also known as a dog bone trigger. This one's actually going to act more or less like a toggle because my stake is going to go in the ground, and then my string is going to come up from the top and around and under, pulling tension back out this way. And then I have my trip stick and my stake out peg. So that is the way that I'm going to make my trigger system, and then I'm going to put all this together and show you what this can do. I wanted to get a close-up here of this trap being set for your benefit. I'm only going to turn this over a couple of times. Now, for starters, I've only got maybe a pinky space between my my peg that I will loop around and my attacking arm. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the loop that's on my toggle switch, slide the loop over the spike, then let it go on out. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the top of this A-frame and then just roll the toggle around like you would for a Paiute deadfall, and then just set my stick. One of the reasons why I really like this system is because you don't have to be perfect with your snare or with your stick and your layout here. If this is too close to this stick, a dog bone is a little bit more difficult, and I think that this type works a lot better for being, it's easier to set, for one. I don't know if there's a difference between a dog bone and a toggle, but this method seems to work a lot better and is a lot more sensitive. Just a simple bit of tweaking and that rolls right around. Here you can see my trigger system. Come on, come on. Zoom's not that wonderful on this camera. My string, which happens to be the inner strands of my paracord, goes around and under, and then my dog bone, or my toggle, is right there at the bottom, coming around and under. This is my trip stick. my stakeout peg. And there's very little room. I don't know if you can, let's see if we can get down here a little bit. There's very little room here between where it is and then my peg. The purpose of this is so that this swing arm can go 180 degrees around, hitting the animal's head. It also is effective because if the animal comes in from this direction, it swings, 360 degrees around and into the animal's nose, mouth, the frontal part of the face. If the animal comes in from this side, it's going to come straight down on the head. And if the animal comes from the side, it's going to hit them in the temple area. Now this right here shows really well just where this stands. As you can see, it is lined up almost perfectly in line with my standing stakes. This makes it a very compact trap, and yeah, as a compact trap, it'll fit in smaller, tighter spaces, and it'll be less conspicuous because it's not wide out there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the camera down and get you a shot of it going through a milk jug. Nuzzling up to it. Wham! Look at that hit. I was trying to be cautious. I didn't want to end up getting my hand stuck in this thing. That's an amazing hit, in my opinion. You know, being able to go into a milk jug like that is impressive. Okay, trap is safe. So right there is the insertion of the stake into